of course I support the idea that Gazans should not be killed by bombs, right? Like that's sort of like I feel like that I need to say that is, I feel really awful about that, right? But at the same time, it was appalling to me that there's no mention on the 13th when this first rally happened that 7 days ago, 1,000 people were murdered in their homes and babies were killed and kidnapped, and like that there was just sort of suddenly this huge horrific action is no longer talked about at all.
Do I agree with what Hamas did on the 7th of October? Definitely not. But what these people are saying is, again, they are calling for ceasefire, they are calling for end of occupation, and they are calling for the establishment of a Palestinian state.
From river to sea. That's different, right? And I think that I know that Palestinian people use this phrase differently than Jews do, right? I absolutely understand that for many Palestinian people, this does not mean eradicating everybody, right?
The two-state solution makes sense. The only thing nowadays, with the way things are, probably the more practical solution is living in a state that is very democratic, where everybody have equal rights.
But I guess I find it really hard to believe that that's what people leading these protests really mean. And that I don't know that for sure, right? Like, I don't think we have any evidence either way. But I think that there is a sense that, well, so I have lots of things, but there's a sense that if people were really pushing for this and people really cared about the people of Gaza, why are they only coming out now, and why won't they condemn violence by Hamas in Israel? And so there's absolutely people like you who have always been advocates for the people of Gaza. But I think that the idea that Hamas speaks for Palestinians is true to some extent, but maybe not. And hopefully not many Palestinians. That Palestinians are oppressed, absolutely. Is murdering babies an acceptable solution to that? No, right? Like, and is it murdering babies? Anybody murdering babies, right? And so I think that there's
just one last one.
The one thing that makes me despairing is that as a small child, I was already sort of keen on this two-state solution and the Oslo Accords, and we're going to have peace, and this is going to be a way that we can live together and be a community.
It's okay.
And I think this makes that really impossible.
Well, I think the night will never stay forever. Let's hope for that, and it won't. And actually, if there is something coming out of this, I hope we know that this has to have a solution. The world cannot tolerate something like that. The U.S. tried to do without having the Palestinian people, but it's done. The second point is that nobody, and I'll say it straightforward, I do not agree with attacks on civilians. Either way, having said that, we cannot, and I repeat, we cannot just forget, and you talk about the people here, that it is 75, 100 years old, conflict. The point is the Palestinian people suffered so much for so long, and they were the victims for so long. So they deserve, like every human being, self-determination, independence, living in dignity in their free place.
I want to say thank you to both of you, because there are differences here, but at the same time, respect for human life is coming across from both of you, and I think that's the underscoring part of this show here today. So thank you both for this.